So today we leave the nice campground north of Los Angeles and we head through the Southern California hills and highways, through cities and through mountains, through deserts, through habitation, through non-inhabitation, and we are headed to the place that you may or may not have heard of. Everyone who has heard of it has heard a lot of interesting opinions, a lot of interesting things. Of course, I'm talking about Slab City. If you look for documentaries online, a lot of people think it's this amazing freedom utopia. And for this reason, I want to check it out. I mean, it's close enough to where I'm at. I can easily get to it. It's on the route to where I would like to be. And I personally have seen a lot of interesting things about it. Now, you'll see about it's a town. It was an old military town that was abandoned and nobody exactly knows who owns it, and so all of the local residents have just taken up. You've heard it's called the last free place on Earth. Is it really a utopia, or is it something else? I don't know. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to spend a whole week in Slab City. We're going to get in there on a Saturday, and I'm staying until the next Saturday. We're going to see and experience and absorb all that this interesting little place called Slab City has to offer. Our first stop is the interesting Salvation Mountain, which greets you on the way into Slab City. This was created by Leonard Knight starting around the 1980s. Eventually, they wanted to tear this down, but some people fought for it, and it was declared as a national folk art site and even declared a national treasure by the 2002 Congressional Record. So you have a look at the mountain, and it's very interesting. Is it specifically Christian? I'll have that discussion on my other channel where I discuss such things. But for now, you can kind of see what it is, and this is kind of your first introduction into Slab City. The next big tourist attraction we find inside of Slab City is called East Jesus. Now, no, this has nothing to do with Jesus of the Bible. It's just an eclectic name that they've chosen for the place. What East Jesus is well, they say it's a art museum. And it is actually, I believe, listed as an actual art museum. Really, it's more of a bunch of people who did creative things with garbage. As you see looking through, there are absolutely some interesting, fun, creative things in here, but a lot of it's just like, why? Were you too strung out on drugs or something? I mean, what else justifies a car with CDs and Barbie dolls glued all over it? I just don't know. Maybe I'm just a scientific guy and not an artsy guy. I don't see it. It was interesting, and for sure, go check it out if you're in Southern California, but to call it this amazing art, I'm not quite sure I'd go that far. But East Jesus is definitely an interesting place if you're visiting Slab City. Apparently I made a friend. I'm not sure where he came from, but he just started following me. Okay. Hey, puppy, you're not going home with me. Why don't you go home? Go home. Go on. You live over there. You live over there. Go on. Go in. Go in. I personally found some of the most compelling art not in East Jesus. Just looking around the landscape, some people are obviously very skilled at their craft and have a lot of time on their hands. I mean, all good rats go to heaven. Once you leave the artsy type places and you start walking around town, you start getting a truer picture of what it is. This isn't an amazing free place on Earth. This is a junkyard. It's a place where many people have come for necessity or for some other reason. Some of them have chosen to stay. Some of them are locked into staying. But regardless, all of them have learned how to survive their life in a junkyard. It doesn't remind me of a wonderful dystopia. It reminds me of some cross between Mad Max and District 9. People are building their shanties out of whatever they possibly can. They are doing the best they can. And that's the impression you get when you're walking through the city itself. Well, here we are in the outskirts of Slab City. I want to leave a few of my perspectives. Maybe even give the internet a slight dissenting opinion. All over the internet, it's how amazing this place is. How cool. Wow, it's so free. It's so wonderful. No, it's actually a trash heap. The air right now smells of burnt rubber. That is because when you head up to this hill behind me here, everyone up there is burning tires for their fires at night. About 6, 7 o'clock at night here in December, the air reeks of burnt tire. It's very distinct. Even now, it's about 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and the air still reeks of burnt tire. I've crisscrossed both ends of this place. I've walked through the entirety of Slab City. I've been through the lows. I went to the touristy spots of East Jesus and Salvation Mountain. And the final verdict is this. It is not what the internet cracks it up to be. It might be the last free place on earth. But the reality is, it's exactly what our country's going to be if we're not careful. It's a third world nation out here. It reminds me of District 9, where all the aliens have built together shanty houses over whatever garbage is strewn about. Because that's exactly how people are living. Sure, some folks came out here in campers in the 80s, and those campers haven't moved. The tires long since disintegrated. Trash piles pile up absolutely everywhere. And the sad reality is, I think a lot of people are here because they're stuck here. Sure, some of them can leave. Sure, many of them could call for a ride and be like, get me out of this place. But they don't, for the laziness inside of most folks. It's a lot of burnt out hippies from the 70s who lived their lifestyle of love and peace, never put anything away, never planned for the future, and so now have nothing but the government paycheck, just enough to fill up their water jugs and buy some processed food at the local grocery store. It's not utopia here. I'm not saying don't come here. What I'm saying is that the internet, as I had a great discussion with somebody this morning down near my campsite here, he said, a lot of people come here thinking it's amazing with 5-year-old out-of-date information. The reality is a lot of criminals hide out here. There is a big crystal meth problem. And this is one of the few places I'm actually carrying a walking stick, not because I need one, because I don't really feel safe here. And it's odd for me, who has walked outside at night my entire life, to feel enough timidity to carry a walking stick. Well, a lot of this is just because of all the stray dogs around here. No one takes care of them, and they'll come out there and snap at your legs when you're walking down the street. True story. Happens. So the point, the dissenting opinion, Slab City is indeed a place that is occupied by many places like this. Shanties, shacks, literal tents built with garbage, broken down tarps and things. It's definitely a spectacle to come to see, if for nothing else, than to have a reminder of how we don't want to live our life in the future of this country. We don't want to. We don't want to live like this. I've boondocked across the country. This is not boondocking. This is making do in a garbage heap. That is my final opinion of Slab City. Slab City is an interesting place. I mean, I haven't made a friend out here.
Mom always said I should try to make new friends.
Meet Mr. Spaldy. He was my companion around the campground. He was constructed out of discarded VHS tapes, an old broken chair, and a dead toaster, all hanging around by my campsite. Needless to say, Slab City left its mark on me, and I left my mark on Slab City. It was a fascinating journey, and I hope that you have enjoyed it. With that, thanks for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. Hit that notification bell, and we will see you a little bit further down the road.